Hey, I'm Brian.
I'm Kayleen.
And this is our Veggie Patch. Welcome. Now today we're talking about cabbages.
Yes.
And we've been growing red cabbages here.
We have.
Which is, I think, our favourite one of
It is.
cabbages to grow.
It's good because it looks beautiful
It does.
and it doesn't taste much different to the green one. And yeah, and it's really good for you. Having red vegetables is really good for your beauty, apparently.
That's why I look the
Yes.
way I do, obviously. So growing cabbages, look, it can seem difficult, but there's just one thing you've got to do to solve it. And that is, well, it's two things. We're going to say two main things.
Yeah.
They love fertilizer, so they love lots of nitrogen.
Yes.
And there is a pest that loves to eat them.
And
that
it's named
is-
after them.
Yes, that is the
cabbage moth.
white cabbage moth. And in fact, the cabbage moth doesn't actually eat them.
No.
That's the funny bit. So the white cabbage moth doesn't
Oh,
eat them, but
it
it lays
does.
eggs on them.
Yes, sorry.
The eggs
Yes,
hatch,
and
they
the
turn into
caterpillar.
caterpillars,
Lovely green caterpillars.
and those caterpillars will just devour your cabbages.
Yes.
Now you can use sprays, chemicals to do that,
You
and
can
that's
squish
what
'em.
all the farms are doing. So when you buy a cabbage at the supermarket and it looks perfect, it's because it's been sprayed. Unless, of course, you're buying from an organic grower and then they are using the same method generally as what we do. So, and that method is to use netting.
Yes.
And we've covered this in quite a bit of detail in episode 3 of the
We
veggie
did.
classes. So I want you to make sure you've watched that. If you follow along, we tell you how to make the frames and as easy as possible,
Yep.
and then you'll be able to grow beautiful cabbage like these ones, no problem.
Yes. And you can see we've harvested one already in
That's
the middle.
right, you
So
can
that
see down
chopped
here.
off one down there.
There we go.
That
Bring
was
the camera in.
a couple
you
of
can have
nights
look.
ago. That was our Thai salad dinner. It was delicious. Yes, was it
Yes,
delicious?
it was delicious. It was delicious. So that's the harvested cabbage from a couple of nights ago. And so if you haven't used these before, these are a beeswax coated product.
Yeah,
That
it's better than using your Glad wrap.
Yeah. So instead of wrapping things in plastic, we then just put it in this.
Yep.
And we wrap it up like this. And magically, it seems to keep the vegetables in top condition
It does.
for a lot longer.
Yep.
So I recommend you get these. You can get these at different growers markets and things. I've seen
Yeah,
them
they're
around.
pretty.
Organic food shops.
You can get them anywhere these days.
You can get them in.
Yeah.
They're pretty brutal. Okay. The great thing about this show is we don't erase the bloopers. We just run with it.
Yeah, make it real. Make it
so
real.
look at the beautiful colour in that cabbage though, and look how densely grown that is.
Beautiful.
So you can just cut that off, put it into salads and things.
Yeah.
Or,
Salads, stir fries.
Bit of
What else? Steamed.
steamed, yeah,
Baked.
bit of sauerkraut.
Yes, he loves his
I
sauerkraut.
don't like sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut is really good for your gut as well as kimchi. So, yeah, if you're clever, you can make that. I've never made it.
I love vegetables. I just don't love them when they're off.
It's fermented. The fermented stuff is good for your
They're
gut.
off.
Keeps your gut healthy, babe. That's
Yeah.
maybe what you need.
Yeah, no. Gut's going well. it's
Anyhow,
developing wonderfully well.
Let's go back to the cabbages.
All right. So you grow cabbages from seed.
Yes.
And you can either plant that in the beds, but I would recommend you grow them in trays first.
Yeah.
So you would put them in the
In your Aussie
propagator,
gardener one?
the Aussie
Yeah.
gardener propagator. We didn't have any growing in our propagator at the moment, so I've just grabbed a little seedling from the nursery.
He's cheated.
I've cheated. So I could just show you the stage you kind of be planting them at. So you're going to get, first of all, you're going to get sprouting little kind of leaves that are in a little heart shape.
Yes.
They're not the true leaves. They're
No.
kind of the little, they're the get started leaves.
Yeah.
All right. That first come out of
baby.
the seedling.
Baby leaves.
And then you actually get your real leaves developing,
The adult
which is the
leaves.
one, the adult leaves, and they've got this little jagged edge on them. And generally, you're waiting until you get about four
Three
or
or
five,
four.
yeah, three
Three
or
or
four,
adult
leaves, and that's when they're ready to transplant out
Yep.
into your garden. And so when you buy a punnet, there's usually about 6 in here. If you wanted to buy a seedling, you can do it that way, but it's heaps cheaper
Yeah.
just to grow them yourself.
And they're super easy to grow.
Super easy.
Yeah.
We talked about in episode 4 about crop rotation and nitrogen. So really important that you watch that so you understand the sequence of when we're planting cabbage, because they need lots of fertilizer.
Yes.
Lots of nitrogen.
So great to plant them after things like beans or peas, and then add lots of compost manure to the
Yeah,
soil
that's right.
before you plant your little seedlings.
That's right. And then when you're harvesting, you'll see that you get a nice solid head. So coming close with the camera, let's have a look at these ones here.
And very important to leave enough room for cabbages, because you can see how big
They're big.
they get. So we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this bed.
So we've got, 7. There should only be about 6 really.
Yeah, well this one hasn't grown much yet. It's a little bubble
And
one.
that would be the limit. You
Yeah.
can see that they're taking up a space of about 60 centimetres here with their big leaves. But what an attractive plant. So this head's really nice and solid. It's ready to harvest. We would just get a knife underneath here and then just cut through that main stem down there, and they should be right. Now, one of the little things with cabbage is that they like to have their roots into fairly firm soil. And so if you are planting seedlings out and they look a bit spindly, just kind of bury them a little bit deeper than you would usually,
Yeah.
so that the base is actually firm.
Well, they need to be strong because it's quite heavy. Their head is really heavy, so it needs to get nice and sturdy before that
That's
happens.
right. Now there's another type of cabbage
Yep.
as well we haven't talked about.
So you've got tight and loose leafed cabbages. So this is classed as a tight cabbage, as we showed you before. It's nice and tightly looking with the leaves. You have other cabbages like Chinese cabbage, which are a bit more loose.
Yes. Both are great to eat.
Yes.
Both are great to grow.
Yes.
When can we grow cabbages?
You can pretty much almost all year round you can sow your cabbages. Maybe not for our area in January when it's stinking hot. It might.
Yeah, they don't like it
Fry them.
really hot, but in the kind of rest of the year you can grow. It's a good solid vegetable to be
Yeah.
growing, but essential to use netting to do that. Otherwise, there's another product called Dipel you can use for the caterpillars. Dipel.
Dipel, however you know how to pronounce
Depends
it.
which school you come from. But I just think it's easier to use a prevention method instead and do it that way. So highly recommend you give cabbages a go. Fertilizing, you could liquid fertilize them.
Yes,
I
you
would
could do them
recommend something
regularly.
like Nitrosol would be brilliant. I've got some in here because Nitrosol, hence the name, has lots of nitrogen in it. So they would really benefit from that. So does animal manures and things. So mixing those
Harvest,
into the
any
soil,
of those
harvest
things.
would be great for it as well. And you're going to get beautiful cabbage like these ones here.
And they last so long, so you don't, for a family, you don't need a huge amount
Yeah.
because you can give one to the neighbour.
So even today in this video, I was going to cut another one off, and Kathleen says,
Don't cut it
we
yet.
don't want to cut another one off because we've got one in the
Yeah,
fridge.
because I only just cut one the other day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we're going to leave it growing in here, and then when we're ready for the next one, we'll do that. But we probably will need to sow some more seeds so that we've
more.
got successive planting happening.
Yes.
We've got more cabbage growing and ready for the next time we need it.
Yep.
All right. So cabbages,
Nice
not,
and easy.
not too difficult.
No.
Give them a go.
Yep.
If you do the netting, it's really easy and it
Yep.
works well.